Let's talk about how you can still be in your joy when somebody else isn't very happy about the situation. I love spring. I love all of the colors as the world wakes up. This year, though, I haven't noticed spring as readily as I normally do because last summer we moved into a new neighborhood. The trees here are small and they don't blossom like they did where I used to live. However, today I had the opportunity to get out in the world and to travel across the state and notice how the world has been waking up. I had a memory come up as I was driving. For me, spring is a cacophony of sensory input, sounds, smells, sights, and I love it. And I have always loved that here in Utah, around May every year, the Russian olive trees come into bloom, as do the ragweed. And ragweeds and Russian olive trees happen to grow very near to one another easily. Both of them have very unique, soft scents. But when the temperature is correct and the wind is just right, the entire atmosphere fills with the smell of Russian olive trees and ragweed. What I noticed while I was out and about today is the ragweed is in bloom and I can smell that scent on the air. The Russian olive trees have not yet bloomed. However, their buds are tight and getting ready to open, and I can just imagine with mouth-watering accuracy what the air will smell like when they do. When I was a little girl, I used to comment every year on how much I loved the smell that was in the air during May in Utah. And every time I did, inevitably my father would moan and groan and complain because my father is allergic to Russian olive trees and ragweed. There came a point in my teenage years where Dad started getting shots from his allergist every spring before all of the pollen erupted into the air, and that did him a little bit better as spring went on. However, every May, without fail, when I would be loving the scents in the air, Dad would be groaning and complaining because his allergies would be activated by the same plants whose scents that I loved. This has been a pattern throughout my life where I have found joy and happiness in things where other people didn't find joy and happiness. Or I have a tendency to also laugh at inappropriate times. So I will laugh in church, I will laugh in funerals, I will laugh in hospital waiting rooms, simply because it is one of the ways that I address energy, emotional energy. For most of my life, I've had the experience of being very different than everyone around me. This example of loving ragweed and Russian olive trees being the very thing that caused my father to be miserable is just one example of how this showed up for me in my life. I have had to gain an awareness and an understanding about how to be in joy and love in my own experience, even if others are not having the same experience. There is a tendency that epic sensitives have to diminish their own experience because it's different than what other people are having. My invitation to you today is to look at the areas in your life where you may have been playing small because how you experience this world is much bigger and grander than anyone else around you. Seek out people who also understand what it's like to see and hear, feel and sense, express and experience things on a really big scale. The sensitives are waking up, and we are banding together because when we are unified, our power is exponentially increased. Today, remember that you have an experience that is unique to you, and no matter what anybody else is saying or feeling or experiencing around you, your unique experience is truly yours and it is correct for you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for choosing to keep on keeping on. Thank you for being willing to look at things in new ways and ask powerful questions. Thank you for sharing these videos and for reaching out behind the scenes. I see you, I hear you, and I feel you. Create yourself a beautiful day and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.